You guys, it's Nate and welcome back to Hartland Studios and welcome to a fan film review. We make fan films, we make short films, we make fan films on Spider-Man, we make fan films on Power Rangers. We make fan films, right? We like making some fan films. So what better use of this channel when we're not making fan films to review other fan films? And a fan film that came out just 5 days ago is called Marvel Adventures Spider-Man Part 1 by After School Film Production. I asked them if I could do this review, they said yes. So let's do it. Overall, I just want to say, firstly, this film is great. I really recommend you watch it. First link in the description will be this film. So let's go bit by bit on the stages, how we see this film. So first of all, the channel, After School Film Productions, be sure to subscribe to them, by the way. As far as I can see, they have 3 videos on their channel. They have the teaser trailer for this series, the official trailer for this series, and then the part 1. Episode 1. And then we have about 191 exactly subscribers, I think. Not too sure, it could have changed by now. But about 200 subscribers, let's say. And yeah, this film is really amazing. The film roughly has, I think, 2.5k views, which is great. You know, a great ratio between subscribers and views. And it seems to be a very professional channel. Now, just looking at the video through its thumbnail, oh my god. Tarzan, okay? Tarzan didn't have the greatest storylines, Tarzan 1 and 2, but visually, those films were gorgeous, and this film, no different. The thumbnail for this, literally so many Tarzan vibes, but also so many comic vibes. Like, things look comic accurate, and it's like, there's some things which is like, you could say that's not comic accurate, but it is. Even if things don't necessarily look comic accurate, they just feel comic accurate. Now, a rundown of the characters in this film. We have Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, MJ, Mary Jane Watson, Harry Osborn, Kraven the Hunter, and then these kind of like security guards. I think that they look kind of like, there's basically this guy in a suit and he's like very professional, and he has these 2 bodyguards and they look kind of like, is this Sable? Silver Sable's people or Cable? It looks like that. So maybe they could be classed as characters, but I don't know if that's what the names are, so I don't know. I also think that each character was perfectly cast, up to be like Trump then. Honestly, the acting in this film is great, but we're still talking about the front line, so let's actually get into the film. So it starts off, like I just mentioned, with Kraven the Hunter and this kind of FBI type guy with his 2 bodyguards, with the 2 soldiers. They pretty much arrested Kraven the Hunter and they're basically talking to him, they're going through different things. And one thing I would love to point out about this is that they mentioned Sinister 6, but they also mentioned that he used to be part of the Avengers. Now, I don't think I've seen any fan film go into that topic of Kraven Hunter being in the Avengers, and even though it was pretty much just one line, maybe it wasn't throwaway. Maybe they're going to look into this later in the series. I doubt it, because I think they already have a pretty good thing going for them. I think they know where they want to go. But just, I don't think a fan film has ever a fan film that's done Kraven has ever delved into the, could have been an Avenger at one point. He was an Avenger at one point, you know. And I just that little detail kind of shows that this character has a more of a backstory than they're showing, because just lines like that, they were like, oh, so you were an Avenger, and he was like, that was a very long time ago, as in something happened which turned him this way. It was just really cool. Now, this scene in general is shot beautifully, okay? Literally, it's in a warehouse, but the way, the lighting, okay, the lighting is so, it doesn't look as if it's got a lot to it. It looks very simple, but that's what makes it perfect. It's literally a warehouse. There's an extreme wide shot, and then we get to the close-ups of the different characters, the kind of mid to close shots, and it just looks beautiful. The backdrop behind them is dark. It's dark, and it doesn't distract you, but it gives depth. Like this slight colour, like this, like bits of yellow and bits of orange, and you can see the depth. Mwah. Then you hear gunshots, and they're like, what's that? The guards go after him, bam, they're dead. Don't know what's going on. So he gets up, he's like, bam, bam. The way they shot that was perfect, honestly. Like, there's so many things we've done in our films I've looked back and like, oh, I wish I shot it like that, or like this. And this, if I was to create a film that I would deem right, that looks perfect. I love it. This film. But all of a sudden, Black Cat shows up, and she's like, bam, you're dead. Well, I don't know, I can't remember whether she killed him, I don't think so. But he's basically like, I didn't expect to see you, but aren't I glad to see you? And then it's the dynamic between the actors in the scene. It's like you didn't get much screen time of Black Cat and Hunter and Kraven the Hunter, but when you did, it was like, yeah, they know each other. There's not like a lot of history. Like, clearly, obviously he wasn't expecting her, but well, there's a bit of flirting going on. I guess you gotta have that with Black Cat. Craven then asks her if the guards that she knocked out, if he should kill them, and she says, no, leave them for Spider-Man. And he's kind of like, oh, a woman who kills with honour. And like, just that one line, again, like, that's just possibly a throwaway line, but immediately you're like, yo, Black Cat and this is a savage, Craven the Hunter, just a mad bloke. He's like, sure. Then we get this really cool title sequence that says Marvel Adventures Spider-Man, and boom, straight into it, no messing about. Then we have Peter and Felicia Hardy, or at least I assume it was Felicia Hardy. I mean, seems like Felicia Hardy. I'm pretty sure it's the same actress. Whether it wasn't meant to be Felicia Hardy, I don't know. But they chat, they have a nice laugh, and they're talking about Gwen and MJ as well, like oh, as if they are kind of like a friend group, which I thought was really cool. And they're also talking about going to see Harry Osborn's dad. Now, I don't really know what this is implying. Is he already been Goblin? I mean, they mentioned the Sinister Six and Green Goblin earlier, so like, is he in that stage of dying, or is he okay, and he's actually doing like a confront? I'm pretty sure it's the first one, but either way, I'm not sure. That's why I can't wait to watch the next. Flash Thompson shows up and he's like, "Hey, Pete, got a date with her, so, you know," and then they kind of walk away. And he meets up with Gwen in, I'm assuming, the school library, or just a library, or some sort of place where they had a little get together. And basically, he kind of tells Gwen that he's like feeling a lot tired. There's kind of like a really nice dynamic between the two, where it's like Peter's always trying to be like Mr. Positivity, and Gwen's like, okay, on a real, just slow down. I know you like to talk about the bright side, but let's just talk real. And I thought that was really cool. I really like the kind of dynamic. And the actress for Gwen Stacy is a really good actress. I mean, literally, maybe some of the best acting I've seen in a fan film in a while. Eventually MJ joins the mix, and there's talking between them, and all working on a science project. Things get thrown back and forth, blah blah blah. And then, something that I really loved is that MJ mentions making a smoke bomb. And that she used to do it with her dad, and that's the only really nice memory she has of her dad, which I thought was just such a nice touch, because again, these things could be classed as throwaway lines, but to me it's just perfect the way that they're adding in these little details, just so that we get a feel for the characters before whatever happens in part 2, 3, 4, whatever it is to come of this series. So Gwen, MJ and Peter, they've all discussed their project, and they all leave. Peter kind of runs off because there's a kind of like a text message, needs to be Spider-Man basically, but he shoots off. One thing I love about this scene is that for years and years people have always been saying Spider-Man is meant to be made as a character that people can connect with. No matter who you are, you can connect with Spider-Man. And this Spider-Man I can't connect with, and I'll tell you why.
These dreams aren't the best welcome to now.
How so?
It was pretty dark.
What happened?
It's MJ.
This is my ringtone. I mean, hey, they said everyone relates to Spider-Man. If I didn't relate to anything to do with that Spider-Man, at least I have something. Peter runs off, and Gwen is basically looking through MJ's files of work for an assignment, and she finds a sheet of paper, and it's like kind of scares her a bit, but we don't see what that is until later on. So then we cut to Peter flying through the city. Now, I thought this was really cool. Granted, it wasn't the best web swinging I've ever seen. Tons and tons better than I was. Absolutely better than I was. And I know that web swinging is really hard in films, and I think they did a great job. And it wasn't really fair for me to say then that it wasn't the best I've seen, because in all fairness, the best I've seen is Peter France, and that man is just, that man is just mannequin head, blonde guru. But Peter, he Spider-Man in this scenario, there's like a ringing that goes off, screws with his ears, he falls, and suddenly he's on a rooftop and he's fighting with Craven the Hunter. We then cut to Gwen and MJ, and they're basically talking about, you know, work and all that, and their futures. And basically Gwen says, "Oh, I found the sheet of paper. I know you've basically been, I think it was expelled from school or something, or you've been dropped from some college, or you didn't get into a college or something like that." And basically she's like, "I'm your best friend. I can help you. You shouldn't be hiding this." Then this guy shows up, and he's like, "Sorry, I'm late, guys." And even though you could put two and two together, they hadn't like mentioned who this guy was, but just the way he was dressed, I was like, Harry Osborn, because he was dressed in a shirt. I believe it was a purple shirt. It might have been a dark blue, but I think it was a purple shirt. which is kind of, you know, goblin hinty-ish. And he had like his hair in like a ponytail. And this guy looked cool. Like, this guy looked like Tommy Oliver from the 90s cool, right? He looked sick. So he shows up and he was like, oh, I've working at Oscorp, I'm not late, blah blah blah. And yeah, the three of them walk inside this building. I don't know what the building was, but they walked inside a building. Then we cut back to Spider-Man and Kraven battling it out. Now, this fight scene was full on just Peter quipping, Peter being like, hey, blah blah blah, oh, you smell bad and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just the classic Spider-Man type of stuff. And then at some point, he's getting like throttled by Kraven and he just grabs his arm and just twists and you can hear it all crack and oh, like it just looked so cool. And like the actor for Peter, even though you can't see his face, you could really hear like the pain the character was going through, and the actor like really did those groans really well. Kraven gets out a knife and due to a scar through his eye, he says something along the lines of, I think, an eye for an eye or something like that. He's about to stab Peter in the eye or like take his lens off, and Black Cat shows up and she's like, stop, and then boom, end of part 1. Oof. Cannot wait for the next episode. It was sick. Just the entire end of this fight was just shot beautifully. The entire film was, but there was something I liked specifically about this. I think it was because it was on a rooftop and there was lots of natural light. But it just looked amazing. And honestly, I want to shoot a scene like that. I can't wait till quarantine's over so we can just film like that, because I loved it. The composer, okay, I believe his name is JJLS Music. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong. It's on screen here if I'm wrong. He actually hit us up and he was like, do you guys need a composer? And like, it was quite expensive, so I was like, we'll think about it. But I mean, if we had the money, this man is an amazing composer. The score in this is phenomenal. Like, you first hear the most like glimpse of it when the intro starts, but then when you get to the part where Peter's, for example, getting up and he has to run, or even in the fight scenes, it is just gorgeous. Kind of like how Homecoming has the like dun 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 dun. This one had his own version of that, and it was kind of like that. It was kind of like you could hear like the ticking of a clock, whilst also the fast-paced kind of motion. And I know I've done this a lot. It says like Paul Hollywood's handshake.
Oh my God.
I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. I promised Aunt May that I would help her out with knitting. Yeah, knitting, and I'm so inconsiderate. I'm terrible, but we got this in the bag, guys. I just flew over my head. I see you guys later. We'll work on the project. I promise you. You guys are great.
Peter.
Honestly, I can't say a bad word about this film. It's 22 minutes long, so it's in the perfect time range for a film, especially for a starting short film. Honestly, guys, please go and check this out. Such an underrated channel, such an underrated film. I know it only came out 5 days ago, but it only has 2.5 thousand views, and the channel only has like 200 subs. Go, flood now. Not that there's probably that many people watching this, but flood. I mean, like, what do you think about it? No. Please show the love to these guys. I adored this film, and I seen it like a few days ago, but I was like, I want to do a review on this, so I asked them first. They said yes. Then I watched it, and well, I'd seen clips, but I really wanted to indulge myself in this. Please go show the love, please. I love this film. I wouldn't say a bad word about it. It was evident that they voiced over everything, which was great. Left room for no background noise. There was some clips where you could see that the lip syncing didn't add up, but it was so small. You really have to be looking at their lips to realise it. And I don't just mean like a close-up, I mean if it was a wide shot. So honestly, it's nothing that's like affects the film really. So that's my review / reaction on Marvel Adventures Spider-Man Part 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, tonight at 7 PM CST, 8 PM EST, 12 AM GMT and 9 AM tomorrow ACST, the ultimate Spider-Man fan film community live stream. It's gonna contain myself, the Lonely Spider, Buckeye, NFX Visuals, Brandon Mello, Bald Eagle Productions, Nut Allergy Productions, Cypher Films, and maybe some more people might show up halfway through. I'm not gonna say. So be sure to donate. It's going straight to a COVID-19 charity. Nothing goes to us. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like. Please subscribe. We're so close to 2,000 subscribers. We're literally like 190, no, 100 and... just over 100 away. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out After School Film Productions, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.